Welcome to Flip Lesson 64. We're looking at adding and subtracting negative numbers. As we look at positive and negative numbers, we've looked at timelines and understood how and what their relationship is to each other on, not a timeline, a number line. Let's stick with those. We probably applied it to timelines though. Anyway, as we look at this idea, we want to understand, okay, how do we actually add these together without a number line? And we're going to develop a series of 3 sets of rules when it comes to adding and subtracting negative numbers. So, in the words of the genie of the lamp, rule number 1. So first of all, we want to follow this pattern. The sum of 2 numbers with the same sign has an absolute value equal to the sum of their absolute values. Its sign is the same as the sign of the numbers. All right, lots of words. What does that mean? Let's take a look at this in conjunction with this problem. Okay, so we break it down. We have an addition type problem. All right, we're off to the right start. We're looking for sum. We have 2 numbers and they have the same sign. In this case, they both happen to be negative. All right, so what do we do with this now? All right, this is what we want to do. We want to take the absolute value and the sum of those absolute values. So the absolute value of negative 54, so if I put the absolute value signs, in there, I would come away with an answer of 54. It's 54 away from 0 plus absolute value of 78 is, negative 78 is 78. And then I can add those 2 together because that's what it says, sum. So when I put the sum together, I get an answer of 132. 132. All right, but we don't stop there, right? There's another sentence right here. Got to finish the clause. That being the answer, its sign is the same as the sign of the number. So originally we had 2 negatives, and when you add a negative to the negative, you get a negative. So in the end, we get an answer of negative 132. But we see this process of breaking it down. All right. Rule number 2, or procedure number 2. So the sum of the 2 numbers with different signs has an absolute value equal to the difference of their absolute values. Its sign is the same as the sign of the number with a greater absolute value. All right, let's break this one down using this problem now. All right, so this time we're once again going to start with the absolute value. So the absolute value of 45 is 45. And we're going to take the absolute value of this, which is 67. And when this time, because we have different signs, we have a positive here and a negative here, right, we're going to subtract because they're differences. Right? And because we want the larger number on top, you see how I put the 67 on top like that. And when I subtract, I get a fast answer of 22. However, we want to say, okay, well, it's the sign that goes with it. We started with a positive, we added a negative. What symbol do we need in front of our number to finish this up? And so this is where our last sentence comes in. Its sign is the same as the sign of the number with a greater absolute value. So which one had a greater value in the end? And that's pretty easy. We understand that 67 is greater than 45. So that means we're going to take this sign and we're going to plug it in down here for a final answer of negative 22. All right, I'll let you sink that in for a little bit as we head into rule number 3. And of course, rule number 3 is actually the one that doesn't really take a lot of thinking, but you have to be thinking to recognize it instead of just jumping into the absolute values. Because what we're looking at with our third rule, or our third procedure, is the sum of opposite numbers. They're opposite. So a negative 92 plus a positive 92. In essence, what we're really saying is that they are the same distance away, right? Absolute value of negative 92 is 92, and the absolute value of 92 is also 92. And if we follow the rules of adding different signs, right, positive, negative, we're going to subtract them. 92 minus 92 equals 0. And so we can simply learn to identify opposites. By looking at 2 opposites, we would say, oh, those are going to cancel each other out. let's just go with rule number 3. All right. With that in mind, then, solve this problem. Remember, order of operation tells you to go left to right. Left to right. So don't just start grouping things in the way that you, I guess, want to. Though, I guess then you could talk about the commutative property allows you to move things around too, because it's addition. Yeah, it's all addition. Yeah, do whatever order you want, I guess. Go ahead and group. Ignore my first statement, right? Plus, plus, plus. All right, now that you got that solved, let's take it up to the 7th grade level now. Right? Or 8th grade level, or 6th grade level, or, I don't know, your level. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? Wherever this level fits. All of these concepts apply to our fractions, our mixed numbers, and our decimals. It's the same concept. Right? If I want to add 2 fractions together, or mixed numbers in this case, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the absolute value of both these numbers, and so that's 2 and a half plus 3 and 1/3. So that's right, same signs. Okay, so same signs tell me that I'm going to kind of just do that. All right, and we're going to convert these real quick. What is that? 9/3? No, 8/3? 10/3. That would make more sense. All right, still don't have a common denominator, so we're going to multiply by 3 on this side, multiply by 2 because we need a common denominator. So now we have 20/6 on this side, and we got 15/6 on this side, which gives us a final answer of 35/6, which reduces to, what is that, 5 and 5/6? All right, so we've solved to this point with the absolute values now. Now we got to say, okay, we have a negative sign, so our answer is negative. All right, let's do the decimal one now. All right, I already made a mess of that part, so let's move it up here. Okay, so we have opposite signs. So we start with absolute value of both of these, and then we're going to subtract them. Opposite, opposite. So we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract, all right, and that's going to be the bigger one minus the smaller one. And then we take the value of the larger one. So we got negative. Fast math. All right, we got that concept. All right, put it all together. Using your positive and negative numbers, apply it to this word problem as you work with this concept of adding positive and negative numbers. That's it for lesson 64.